Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Capricorn July 2020 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, as far as July goes, the sun will be in Cancer from the 1st until the 22nd. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on relationships, partnership situations, significant other, marriage perhaps, a grandmother even, open adversaries, negotiation, compromise. And when you look at, you're talking about, and also just legalities in general, could be lawsuits. Given that this is Cancerian energy, this may be done with a lot of emotional energy. It might be done with a lot of maybe done with a lot of dedication, devotion, and tenacity, and also perhaps with unequivocal love to, especially perhaps in matters like with a significant other or a grandmother even. And the thing too is, as far as this goes, this could also shine a light in some cases on a Cancerian open adversary. It may be a Cancer, sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Cancerian characteristics, or even shine the light on a Cancerian legal opponent in some cases. This could also be a time, remember that the sun can be connected with the father, so this could be a time where perhaps the father might figure more prominently in your connections with others. It may be legal matters, maybe some kind of competition, or your relationships in general, and it may be a Cancerian sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Cancerian traits. Next thing up. Well, the sun will be in Leo as far as July goes, from the 22nd until the 31st. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on shared resources, sexual matters, intimate relationships, emotional, moral, monetary support, insurance, taxes, even situations with death in some cases, transformation, rebirth, regeneration, even it could be matters connected with psychology as well, even surgery in some isolated cases. Now, given that this is Leo energy, a lot of this may be done with a lot of confidence, self-assuredness, a lot of that Leo-like ferocity. Might even be done in a very grand and really with a lot of generosity and a lot of magnanimous energy, and perhaps a very spirited manner as well. And the thing about this is too, in some cases, this might shine the light, so to speak, on a Leo like surgical matter. It could be something connected with the heart or the upper back. It could also be a time, remember that the sun rules either the left or the right eye, depending on gender. So it could be some issue that may be connected with an eye. It might be something that might be somewhat fiery, like a fiery type burning sensation, or something that might be on a large scale in some cases, because Leo is extravagant energy, and it certainly doesn't do anything in small doses. So it's something to be cognizant of at this time, Capricorn. Now, next thing up. Well, at this time, there's going to be a lunar eclipse in Capricorn on July 5th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. And of course, this is going to be much more intensified if this is going to conjunct your sun, your moon, or your ascendant at this time, Capricorn. Remember that for those of you that may not know, a lunar eclipse is like a regular full moon, but it's more amplified and intensified, and it might have life-altering implications, and also the effects might be more sustained and protracted, and it could be very like a life-turning, perhaps, event could take place when this happens. The impact can be much more prodigious than a typical regular full moon. Now, this could, some cases, this could be about maybe the end of something restrictive, restricting connected with the physical body, that might have been hindering you from perhaps Capricorn, like new beginnings, or consistently making some kind of new beginnings. It could be something that might have been tied in with the knees, the bones, the joints, or the hamstrings, but it could also be a period where it could be a revelation of some kind, or unveiling of some kind of issue that's Capricorn related with the physical body. And again, it could be something with the knees, the bones, the joints, or the hamstrings, or just could be something that's very inhibiting or limiting. And especially, I mean, of course, a lot of this is predicated and dependent on aspects. This makes the points in your chart. Say if this makes an adverse aspect to your sun and or Mars as well, that could really intensify or increase the propensity for something like that. But some cases too, it could also be the departure of a prominent Capricorn like female in your life. It could be an authority figure or prominent friend. It could, the first house is also, it's the early childhood, and a grandmother. It might be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Capricorn characteristics. But also to keep in mind that, I mean, this is full moons, lunar eclipses in astrology can also be about when one becomes tired, full, or simply very exasperated at something or someone. This could be a time too where this could be unleashing very powerful emotional energy, and maybe really tired and full, so to speak, of somebody that was overly cold, even tyrannical, even depressive, very negative. And it might have been something that might have impacted your outlook and your self-image. And the thing about it is, it could be a time when you've had enough perhaps of this person. And what it does is, remember that lunar eclipses, I mean, can be manifest in endings, completions, culminations, but it could also indirectly be connected with new beginnings. So something like this could set you up perhaps for being more cognizant of what you can do as far as new beginnings may go, which could be something Capricorn related, or simply having new beginnings that have a lot of structure, have a lot of consistency, being very consistent. That's Capricorn energy, regimented, or anything that's tied in with Capricorn. So those are some ways this can manifest and pan out at this time, Capricorn. Well, the next thing up, we're going to have a new moon in Cancer on July 20th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, in some cases, this could be the start or beginning of, for some of you, it could be of a Cancerian relationship if you're unattached this time, Capricorn. It could be with a Cancerian sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Cancerian characteristics. It might simply be a time where you begin to nurture your relationships or a partnership situation. It could also be the start of some Cancerian-like competition. It could be something like with water rafting or swimming or anything that could be Cancerian related. It could be doing some competition perhaps around the home. It might be some introverted activity. Maybe it has something to do with ancestry, seeing who can find the most, instead of throwing this out there arbitrarily, who could find the most ancestors in a certain amount of time. I'm being somewhat flippant with that though, people. But also too, it might be a time too where you might have, it might be the beginning of where you have to be more dedicated and devoted to a lawsuit, or in some cases a legal related matter as well. And it could be a time where if you're married at this time, Cancer, or have a significant other, where you begin to nurture and show more support for the significant other, or maybe provide more safety and security for that person at this time. Some cases, I think this could manifest in maybe a new Cancerian open adversary. It might be a Cancer sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies those traits. But it could be somebody, maybe that it could be a family member, or maybe even someone you feel close to home with, or somebody that was prominent in your home life. Next thing up, Well, Mercury will be in Cancer, so the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, this can manifest in a number of ways. Could be simply a time where you're reminiscing maybe about past relationships, and also Mercury in Cancer can be really about speaking off the cuff, being able to extemporize in speech, and you might at this time it could be about extemporizing in really in court matters, legal matters, negotiations, matters connected with compromise or trying to reconcile a situation, your communications, perhaps with a significant other, a marriage partner, a grandmother. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that. I'm back. But anyway, and also too, it might be where you might be involved in some rather defensive communications with open adversaries or enemies. And as I've stated in previous videos, Mercury is not just about communications, it could also be about siblings, cousins, neighbors. This could be about Cancerian siblings, cousins, or neighbors that might figure more prominently. Perhaps it could be legal matters. It could be matters with negotiations. It could be efforts that are just you collaborate on with them, or it could be in dealings with partnership situations, and also just or some kind of legal matter as well, and open adversaries. Now, whether they're actually more beneficial or more to your detriment, a lot of that could be predicated and dependent on aspects that are made to points in your chart. A sextile trine your natal Jupiter, they might be more auspicious in these matters, but if it's say if it's an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, it might go the other way and might be causing some loss, sorrow, or dejection, or just a restriction in those matters, or some kind of loss. Anyway, last but not least, Venus will be in Gemini, so the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, this could manifest in a number of ways. This could be money that might be derived through it could be some Gemini-like employment. It might be doing something with communications, like writing or journalism, data, satellite communications, or working with your hands, something that requires dexterity, like auto or refrigeration mechanics. It could also be about spending money on a Gemini health-related issue. It could be something with the lungs, or something with the shoulders, or the arms, or the hands, like carpal tunnel syndrome. It could also be a time where you might value more variety in your daily routine, in mental, intellectual stimulation as well. It could be about the enjoyment of playing Gemini-like games, perhaps things of amusement with in your daily routine with fellow employees. It could be playing like mental games like chess or luminosity or haiku. And it could also be a time where you may connect with a Gemini. If you're unattached this time, Capricorn, you may connect with a Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Gemini traits. It might be somebody you provided some kind of service for. It could be a person that might be prominent in your daily routine. Maybe somebody that could also be somebody prominent in your health life. And also too, remember that that Venus could be connected with the neck or the throat, so it could also be some issues health related that might be associated with that at this time. Maybe being in Gemini, some mercurial ones, so to speak, kind of on and off issues. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.